The federal government is going after one of the nation's best-known companies, alleging that Boeing is trying to harm the union that builds its largest plane. If the National Labor Relations Board gets its way, Boeing may have to delay opening a massive non-union factory that it just completed. Jim Axelrod says it is a rare dispute on a huge scale.
At 55, Lee Gaylor never thought she'd be struggling simply to survive.
I never thought I would do anything like this, but, you know, I can deal with it.
Unemployed for a year, she left her home on 10 acres in Tennessee to live in this trailer in South Carolina and to learn to build Boeing 787 Dreamliners in a new billion-dollar plant in North Charleston. Where would you be without Boeing?
Home without a job in Tennessee.
But the complaint filed by the National Labor Relations Board could shut down Gaylor's job before it really begins. When production starts next month on the 787 Dreamliner in this massive building, at least 1,000 jobs will be added to a South Carolina economy that has an unemployment rate of nearly 10%, well above the national average. So why is that a problem?
The problem is that those jobs will be taken out of Everett, Washington, where employees are currently working in those jobs.
Chris Corson of the Machinists Union, which represents Boeing workers at its Everett, Washington assembly plant, claims this is Boeing's payback for a 58-day strike in 2008.
These jobs that we're talking about in the production of the 787 Dreamliner should be removed from South Carolina and sent back to Washington.
Yes.
The Washington state plant is fully unionized, but South Carolina's is not. And here's where the federal government says Boeing is breaking the law. If Boeing is moving the jobs to South Carolina in retribution for the 2008 strike, that's a violation of labor laws. Boeing insists it's not, that they're new jobs. South Carolina, the company says, has a world-class port and lower costs. But listen to what Boeing Executive Vice President Jim Axelrod also told the Seattle Times last year in an online interview.
The overriding factor was not the business climate, and it was not the wages we're paying people today. It was that we can't afford to have a work stoppage, every 3 years.
No company makes a billion-dollar decision out of spite.
Boeing Senior Vice President Tom Downey, in the company's first TV interview about the case, points to 2,000 new jobs the company created in Washington state since 2009 as proof there's no retaliation and no net job loss.
Would this have all been a lot easier if Mr. Axelrod had never said what he said to the Seattle Times?
At the end of the day, whether it's within the NLRB process itself or when the case reaches the courts, we believe that we are, in fact, going to prevail.
If Boeing loses, it will have to move all the Dreamliner jobs to Washington state. As for Lee Gaylor, herself a former union member, she just wants a job.
I want to work. Those are not my problems.
Her only focus now is earning enough money to move out of her trailer. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, North Charleston, South Carolina.